Alright, welcome to the channel. Let's talk blades, because that's what we're into. So, this knife I'm showing to you today is the CRKT Seismic. It is a big knife, 4-inch blade. I believe it's AUS-8 steel. The inch on the handle is, I believe it's 5 inches on that handle. It's a big knife, very wide in the pocket. In my last video, I did the Endura 4 from Spyderco, much smaller. This is just a big knife. I don't carry it because it's a little bit heavier, around about 5-6 ounces. Might be even more. I just need to check on it. It's a great knife. It looks really, really good. G10 handle scales. You got the steel liners. It's a flipper tab with a thumb stud that acts also as a stop pin, just from the looks of it right here. You can see it, and it's a relatively decent knife. I really do like it. I just don't really carry it because of it's not really pocket friendly to me, at least. The cool thing about this knife, I have to say, is what's called the deadbolt lock, and the deadbolt lock is right here on the pivot. And what that does is, as you can see on the back, it's got that bar right there, locks it in place. I cannot move this knife. There's no blade play, no up, down, or side to side. It's really tight. I think it runs on ball bearings. Don't quote me on that. I'm still kind of unsure about it. But you press this down, and it unlocks the knife so you can close it. And yeah, that this little end back spacer right here is aluminum. You got 2 lanyard holes, and this kind of off to the side, weird, deep carry, kind of shallow pocket clip. It's great. It's just one of those type of knives that goes pretty deep in the pocket, and as big as it is, I don't know if you want this, unless you want it in a dedicated pocket. Otherwise, it's going to be, for me, it's right next to my cell phone in that same pocket if I were to carry this thing. And like I said, it's flipper, so you have the flipper right here. And see, I just slipped. I do this a lot with this knife in particular, because the jimping on it, even though there's jimping, you can see that right there, it's not exactly, it doesn't catch, so it just kind of mess up. There we go, and it pops right open. So that's CRKT. CRKT, a lot of people used to say cricket. I've heard that coined a lot, like, oh, I got a cricket knife, or that's cricket. No, this is CRKT, and they say it that way, CRKT, because that's what it is, a Columbia River knife and tool. It's not a cricket. And every time I hear that, it kind of messes with me a little bit. It doesn't make me mad. I don't get, mildly infuriated, nothing like that. It's just, come on now, you just got to know what you have. It's not a cricket. it's just weird. And then, of course, you have the information on this side where it says Seismic. It's a Flavio Icoma design, and it's got his ball bearing system. So yeah, I was right. It is ball bearing pivot. You got the patent number and all that. So it doesn't really tell you what blade steel it is, but I'm pretty sure it is AUS-8. And AUS-8, I'm pretty familiar with AUS-8. I can say that it does hold a decent edge. It will lose its edge over time, depending on how you use it. A lot of people beat down on their knives a lot, and a lot of people say that AUS-8 is a crappy steel. It's pretty adequate, in my opinion. I've used AUS-8 with several other knives in the past, mostly from cold steel, and I am a cold steel fan. I do have a lot of cold steel with AUS-8. This was before they started using other blade steels like they do now. In the beginning, it was mostly AUS-8. Years back, most of their knives were just AUS-8. And AUS-8 is something that I'm familiar with. It's better than 440 stainless, I can say that. In my own opinion, I don't really like 440 stainless. I can tell you just offhand that 440 stainless is not rust resistant, doesn't hold a good edge, and it's by far one of the steels that I just don't like. And that's just, from swap meet knives to just cheap knives you buy anywhere else, which isn't AUS-8. 440 stainless is just terrible. But that's just kind of what I grew up with. So And you notice I had to do that because this thing is so long. Let me get this measurement down for you guys so you guys can tell how long it actually is. It is, if I'm not mistaken, this thing might be 10 inches long. From tip to end, okay, about 9.5 inches. That's still huge, so that means the blade, sorry about that, I'm going back and forth here. So the blade, yeah, 4-inch blade, huge. And of course the weight on this knife, let's go ahead and bust out the scale. Hello. Yeah, 6.45 ounces. That's pretty heavy. Just holding it in my hand, it's a pretty heavy knife. It's just one of those knives where you don't really know if you want to carry it day to day, unless you're going camping or you're hiking, backpacking, whatever you're doing. This might help. I noticed that another YouTuber that I watch said that, knives that weigh you down are practically not good knives. I'm not going to say who that was because I don't want to expose who that person is. But I can tell you that it all just really depends on what you like and what you want. And, of course, the carryability of those things, it just depends on you. It all ends up on your end of the table as far as your opinion goes at the end of the day. All right, let's get the calipers out so I can show you guys how wide this thing is in the pocket. 17.3. Yeah, and I'm not, oops, I'm touching the pocket clip there. Sorry about that. Okay, 15.0. Still pretty wide. Very wide. I can't really say too many bad things about this knife. I actually thought it was really cool when I got it. I thought it looked cool in the pictures. And yeah, I've even watched some videos about it and thought, hey, why not? I got a collection. This will just be great for the collection. I can carry it once in a while, and that's exactly what I did. So anyways, that's my review of the CRKT Seismic. I think the price tag on this was a little over 100. I think I spent 108 on it or 110, somewhere around there. It might have gone down in price. I think the last time I can't remember the last. I think it was about a year. Was it a year ago? Sometime last year that I bought this knife. And oh yeah, I want to show you the inside of the handle here. They do have milled out steel liners. You can see in there. Sorry, it's gonna do this weird focus thing. All that is milled out. It is milled out in there to reduce weight, but this thing is still pretty heavy. Yeah. Oh, and another thing I am almost forgetting to tell you about. There's this little pivot adjuster, and what I mean by that is that this is the pivot right here, and that is what keeps the knife opening and closing. There's a pivot adjuster right here. It's that little hole that you see on the handle right there. 1 second, sorry. Trying to get some kind of pointer. That little hole right there. If the camera can, there it is. That little itty bitty hole. You got to be careful with this knife in particular when you play with this. I should have just left it alone. And the reason why I say that is because if you look on the spine here, if I can get the light just right. Trying to find it. You'll see a raised portion of G10 with a little bit of a crack. I over screwed it, I over tightened it or whatever I did. I turned it too far and it ruined the handle scale. I heard the little creaking and cracking and I didn't know what that was from. So when you get this knife, if you decide to get it, be very careful with that little pivot adjuster hole right there. It's easy to get to when you have a little Torx tool that will fit that. but it's just one of those things you need to be aware of. I just left it alone. I kind of just I rotated it back to where I felt it needed to be, and it rotates fine. It seems to, everything, the action on it's fine. I just wanted to tighten it just a tad, but I think I overdid it with that little hole, and I messed up the G10 scales. You can kind of see the crack just faintly, but it's there. So when you over tighten this thing, just be aware of that. Not to do that. Maybe like do little turns or something. You just be really, really mindful and listen out. If you start hearing little ticks, you stop, because that's what I was hearing, and I didn't know what that was. I was like, oh, I'm doing something right. No, I was doing something very wrong. Other than that, great knife. It's just one of those knives. I think that the jimping, every time, and I don't know if you heard that, that was me doing this, slipping off of this flipper tab right here. The detent on this is pretty tough. Even, like, ow. See, I just, I'm trying to open this thing, just using the thumb studs. The detent on this it's pretty tough. So, great knife. Like I said, the price tag is going to probably reach a little bit over 100. I think I spent 108, between 108 or 110 on this, and I believe it was on Amazon. I have so many, I really don't remember too well. But you can look it up. The price tag might be different now. Flipper action, huge knife. If you want that in your pocket, hey man, that's up to you. A lot of people just go for the smaller knives, but that's the big boy. I got other big boys. So, all right. Thanks for... Oh, and I want you guys to know, if there's anything you guys need me to do as far as improvement on my videos, please add it in the comment section down below. Every little bit helps because I'm new, so I'd like to know what you guys want to see. If you want me to cut apples or stab cardboard or anything that's not as destructive with my knife, like destroying it or beating it up or putting it through some sort of wicked stress test, I'm up for it. So I would like to do stuff that I know you guys want to see other than just a product review on, oh yeah, this handle, this blade, everything's great, buy it type deal. If you guys think I should be doing something a little bit more entertaining, please add it in the comment section. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I've got a lot more content coming on the way. Thank you guys very much. Have a nice day.